Hello there. The plan is to stamp the United Kingdom flag on UK-funded projects in Scotland to show the Scots who's got their backs and where the money's coming from. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost. And I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. Once we've cleared the final Brexit hurdle on the 31st of December, the Prime Minister Boris Johnson intends to place the UK flag on any UK government-funded project in Scotland, thereby demonstrating where the money originated from in the face of growing support in Scotland for independence, with a recent YouGov poll putting the unionists behind with 47% to the Scots Nats 53%. So, stamping UK flags on things that the UK paid for will really show Nicola Sturgeon and her SNP Scots Nats, won't it? Cue delight from the unionists. After all, they'll say, it is UK money being spent in Scotland. And talking to the Telegraph, Douglas Ross, the new Scottish Tory leader, said, "We should be unashamed of our direct investment in communities across Scotland. We will see that through the Shared Prosperity Fund, that is the money that the EU used to earmark for projects in Scotland and other parts of the UK. If they could have an EU flag on it, why not have the United Kingdom flag on it, to show that here is an example of our two governments in Scotland working together and the UK government delivering for individual communities and projects the length and breadth of the country." But after the initial giggling and support for this by the unionists, reality will hit home. The Mail reports, Boris Johnson wants the emblem to be included in the same way that European Union flags were included on infrastructure and other schemes paid for in whole or part via Brussels cash. The move, due to come into effect after the transition period ends in December, comes as the Prime Minister battles strong support for independence in Scotland, as well as his own dire personal ratings. Does no one think that the Scots will not just see straight through this in exactly the same way that Brexiteers saw through those EU flags and emblems sprouting up everywhere? I'm not sure the proud Scots will have much truck with this sort of tawdry politicking. And it seems to have slipped past everyone concerned that the Scots pay tax in the UK too. And judging by the run-up to the Scottish independence referendum in 2014, they believe that the figures show they pay more in than they take out. Exactly the argument used so successfully by Brexiteers in the EU referendum campaign. Oh, what short memories we do have. To make this work, the government would be forced to prove that the money for projects in Scotland came disproportionately from the rest of the UK, in fact, from just England. And then the government would be forced to match it in Northern Ireland and Wales. Then the northern and western regions of England would be demanding more too. And how would the rest of England feel finding out that they're expected to stump up all the money for everyone else? And if Boris can't prove that Scotland receives more than it gave in the first place, then it's a massive own goal. This is not statesmanlike. This is petty political point scoring and no way to keep a union of countries together. Further, it would probably almost guarantee a second Scottish independence referendum. As the aforementioned YouGov poll predicts, a 57% vote share for the SNP in next May's local elections, and that will send a big enough shockwave through Westminster, and Buckingham Palace no doubt. But a stunt like the one Boris is proposing would probably send the SNP vote north of 60%. And maybe the worst part would be a triumphant Ian Blackford storming into the House of Commons and, in his inimitably smug fashion, demanding an indie ref too. Please spare us that. But many people in Scotland may be banking on a heavy SNP vote leading to more money and more concessions north of the border rather than any thought of independence. Their hope is not to break away, but that Boris will be desperate and pay any price rather than be the Prime Minister that has to report to Her Majesty that he's just broken the Union. And I would rather suspect that Boris would move in that direction, hoping to buy them back. But Westminster needs to understand that people don't think like that. Pushing more money in the direction of Scotland will just continually make the SNP ever stronger, because they can claim the credit for getting the extra dosh, whatever Westminster tries to do. And the whole thing is aggravated by the Scots' intense dislike of the Tory party, and Boris in particular for wrenching them away from their beloved European Union. Now, once it is amply demonstrated that by being Bolshe nationalists you get preferential treatment, what of the nationalist parties in Wales and Northern Ireland? And even in England, come to that. All sprouting up to ensure a strong national voice and therefore more of the money and more of the attention. With the squeakiest country getting the most financial lubrication. How long, for example, could Westminster hold off the calls for an English Parliament going from the fringe to the mainstream, not just regionalised unitary councils to break up England, but a fully fledged English Parliament? And yes, the regionalisation of England is designed to stop England overpowering the UK. But why not an English Parliament? After all, England has its own identity and everyone else has got a parliament, haven't they? Now, I don't want to see the UK going down that route, but playing childish games with emblems is not, I fear, the way ahead. Now, some may be tempted to say, just give the Scots what they earn themselves and nothing more, whatever problems they might experience. But that will just be viewed as small-minded and spiteful, and therefore also counterproductive. And at the end of the day, if treating people fairly is not enough, then what more is there to do? Other than the obvious, of course, by making the case for the United Kingdom, by continually pointing out things like the trade Scotland does with the rest of the UK, and asking what the current oil price is, and what currency they're going to use. Winston Churchill is supposedly a source of inspiration to Boris Johnson, but I have to say his hero would probably not approve of his childish move of his sticking a Union flag in a sandcastle type of approach to diplomacy with Scotland, and this has certainly not been his finest hour. Does Boris actually have any idea how antagonistic this will come across as to the people of Scotland? And right now the SNP is almost certainly rubbing its hand together with glee at this desperation exhibited by the Prime Minister. One Boris Johnson went into hospital with coronavirus and another came out. So could the real Boris Johnson please step forward? Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it by following the merchandise link in the descriptions box below. So what do you think about this? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.